Aloha, I'm Paula Akana. This week, we're taking a look at what it means to eat local and how Kamehameha Schools is helping to make Hawaii's food system more self-reliant and environmentally sustainable. The best part? The food grown here at home tastes better too. So join us on this Ono journey.
Aloha pumehana kākou, I'm Manu Boyd. We hear it all the time, eat local. We know food grown in the islands tastes better, and it's better for us. Kamehameha Schools is committed to helping Hawaii rely less on imports and more on food grown right here at home.
We didn't always rely so heavily on ships and planes bringing food to the islands. In the earliest days of Kalahui, Hawaii, a strong local food system was the only food system. It was how our society survived and thrived thousands of miles from the next populated landmass.
Over generations, Oiwi innovation in agriculture, aquaculture, and integrated resource stewardship developed in concert with our āina. Compared to modern food production, these indigenous systems did a much better job working within natural cycles and ecosystems.
With the many socio-political and economic shifts in Hawaii over the last century and a half, our traditional foods and agriculture have been disrupted. Today, imported food is cheaper and easier to get, and we must find ways to rebalance our food systems to better malama the health of our āina and our people.
Keali'i Pawahi descended from the chiefs and rulers who maintained the traditional balance of society. The trust she endowed has kuleana for approximately 25% of agricultural lands in Hawaii. That's 115,000 acres across the Pai āina.
From that āina, over 1,000 agricultural lessees produce almost 19 million pounds of food every year, with over 70 kinds of crops and livestock. Kamehameha Schools' lands are also home to renewable energy projects that produce more than 100 megawatts of clean energy statewide. Building upon our ancestral heritage and in alignment with our Strategic Vision 2040, Kamehameha Schools now aims to strengthen the local food system and restore this balance.
Kamehameha Schools' Food Systems Initiative aims to grow healthy and accessible food in Hawaii to feed Hawaii and the world. This work goes to the heart of our mission, Hanai Ike Keiki, Ola Kalahui, nurture the child, and we all thrive. As our contribution towards growing Hawaii's food systems, Kamehameha Schools will engage in partnerships to increase the productivity and resiliency of agricultural businesses on the land we steward and build consumer interest in locally grown foods and services.
Kamehameha Schools dedicates more land to diversified agriculture than any other private landowner in Hawaii. The bulk of the agricultural lands, tenants, and food production exist on Hawaii Island, with 3 out of every 4 farmers calling the island home. The top 5 products are macadamia nuts, beef, papaya, mango, and coffee. In fact, 70% of all Kona coffee is grown on Kamehameha Schools' āina.
KS is focused on fortifying food systems because education, jobs, and Oiwi leadership are dependent on a diverse, sustainable, and resilient economy. We know from the experience of our ancestors that Hawaii can produce an abundance of nutritious food to sustain us. We also embrace our kuleana to educate the next generation of farmers and agribusiness leaders based on an Oiwi worldview.
Our agricultural tenants feed our community. These incredible, hard-working men and women are truly having an impact on our local food system.
Mala Kalaulu, our agricultural tenant, is a founder and member of what is now the Hawaii Ulu Cooperative. Stronger together, that's the heart of this group, which allows farmers to sell their harvest to guaranteed buyers. The co-op also processes some of the fruit to make products that can sell for higher prices without burdening the farmer with the added work or cost of that level of production.
Now the Ulu Co-op has grown to over 80 farms all over Hawaii Island and in East Maui. It also brought and continues to bring a strong part of the vision to restore the resilient food systems that used to be here for many generations.
At the end of the year, the farmers share in the profits. The co-op provides support for a community of small farmers across 2 islands who otherwise might not be able to make it on their own, and certainly not at this scale. Many are the definition of small farmers. Members only need 1 ulu tree to join. Collectively, though, they have found their strength. On the Hamakua coast of Hawaii Island, you'll find Kaunamano Farm, where they raise Royal Berkshire hogs using sustainable practices. That means rotational, open-air grazing and intensive pasture management. The idea is to eat with impact. Their mission? To make local meat more accessible to local residents while caring for the land the animals live on.
You can also support farmers by purchasing pre-made products that are made in Hawaii. An ono place to start is the Hawaii Tart Company with their honey caramel macadamia nut tart. Designed as a Hawaiian farm-to-fork treat, it features a buttery shortbread crust with creamy honey caramel loaded with Hawaiian mac nuts grown on Hawaii Island. This tasty treat was also featured on Good Morning America as a must-try travel bite.
Well, I was always interested in those things that said, in addition to coffee, we have all the citrus and all these other things. So we were making mac nut products. So the thought of having a mac nut farm that had coffee and then it has citrus and Chibota kava and all kinds of other things, for me as a chef was just almost, it was like a heavenly opportunity.
If we want homegrown food, we must encourage and support the next generation of farmers, like Ladai Choi, who grows a variety of organic fruits and vegetables, including mangoes, bananas, and kalo, on 3.5 acres in Punaluu. He grew up in the suburbs of Mililani, but his love of the land drew him to the country life. He says his main kuleana in life is to leave things better than the way he found them, and he is doing that by growing food for his community.
90% of the food we eat in Hawaii is imported. That's far too much of our food security and far too much of our economic activity going offshore.
Each of us can make the choice to make a difference by supporting our friends, family, and neighbors who power our local food system, and as often as you can. Eat meals with your ohana, keiki, makua, and kupuna that include as many locally sourced food items as possible. Share traditional foods and preparations with your ohana, especially our keiki, so that the ono for our native foods is perpetuated. Purchase local produce, proteins, and value-added items whenever you can, and consider purchasing from a local farmer's market, community-supported agriculture program, or a food hub. Challenge your ohana to prepare meals with a majority of local-grown products. And learn more about the farmers and ranchers on āina Pauahi and support them. We challenge you to eat local, to support local farmers, ranchers, fishermen, food makers, restaurants, and others tied to Hawaii's local food system.
Eating local within our ahupua'a system is a part of who we are as Native Hawaiians. As alumni, we can support Pauahi's vision of a thriving lahui where we support local food production for a more sustainable and healthier Hawaii. I'm Manu Boyd, and on behalf of Paula Akana and the Kamehameha Schools Ohana, mahalo nui for watching. E ai ka kou, let's eat.